Hey everyone, this is going to be a much shorter video than usual since I have a big video in the works and I want to at least get something out this month. I've been collecting weird and creepy YouTube channels that I've found over the years and I've always had the intention of talking about them, though some of them don't work as a standalone video, whether it be because there's not enough info about them, they don't have enough content, or I just don't have much I can say. Whatever the case, I can't make a full video about them, so why not talk about multiple in one video? I've seen a lot of people do this over the years, so why not try my hand at it? And if it goes well, maybe I'll make this a series. I'm going to be talking about 5 channels here tonight, and aside from one, they're definitely all just ARGs or weird art projects. That doesn't make them any less interesting, but I'm not going to pretend these are anything other than art projects. Again though, there is one exception, but we'll get to that at the end, so stick around. With all that said, before we begin, if you end up enjoying this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. As I said earlier, if this video does well, I'll make this a series, so please do let me know in the comments if you'd like me to continue this series. I read every comment, so trust me, I'll know if you want me to make this a series. But with that said, let's get into the first channel. For the first channel, I want to talk about a mystery that started this year, though despite its recency and relative popularity, I've hardly seen it receive any attention. Zeppelin is a very strange channel. It currently only has one video, though as I'll talk about soon, that wasn't always the case. And as for the video, it in and of itself is a mystery. The video has no title, no description, and no tags. And yet, it has almost 3.5 million views. The video itself is a 45-second video of a masked person playing the piano, though strangely, it is horizontally flipped. That's not the only thing that's strange, as the location of the video is set to hell. Honestly, if this was it, I'd probably not even be talking about this channel, but for some bizarre reason, this video did crazy well in the YouTube algorithm. Despite having no title, no description, and no tags, it got recommended to millions of people, including me. That's right, I found this channel through YouTube recommendations, and immediately after seeing this video, I knew I was going to have to talk about it, but I wanted to wait until more videos were uploaded. I assumed at the time that this was either a weird art project or an ARG, and so I wanted to see where Zeppelin was headed before I talked about it. A few months later, and here we are. I can now safely say that this is just an art project, since the other 2 videos that used to be on the channel were similarly bizarre videos, but that's it. There's no ARG elements to be found here. No story, no puzzles, nothing. So, what was in these 2 other videos that made me come to this conclusion? Let's start with the first, beardance.mp4. This was uploaded about a month after the first video, and contains a person in a bear mask dancing to a piano tune. The tune speeds up rapidly towards the end, and the bear person collapses as the song ends. Unlike the first video, this one's location is set to heaven, which could mean that the bear ascended to heaven at the end. But honestly, I don't know. The last video is family, and this one's location is set to home. The video itself contains not 1, but 2 masked people, with the first being the one from the first video, once again playing the piano, and the second holding up a bear head with a rope. A bear head that looks identical to the one from Bear Dance. Does this video mean anything? Fuck if I know. Honestly, I really do think this is just an art project that's showing weird shit for the sake of it. I could totally be wrong though, as each video having a location that starts with H is definitely an intentional detail. A detail which seems like something an ARG would do. However, as of me making this video, it's been about 5 months since Zeppelin uploaded anything. According to people who have dug up some things about the channel's past activity, this isn't too unusual. Zeppelin will often go months without uploading, and deleting old videos is a common occurrence. In fact, a little over a year and a half ago, Zeppelin actually went by the name No Feet Mailman, and had a completely different video uploaded. As far as I know, this video is now lost, but it apparently had the location set to transgender, and the description of the channel at the time was a woman. Could Zeppelin be a trans woman? I don't know, maybe. Doesn't really matter. This is definitely just an art project, or maybe an ARG, but either way, we don't know enough to be sure, and we sure as hell don't know enough to come to any conclusions about what these videos are trying to say. Hopefully soon we get some answers. I'll be keeping an eye on Zeppelin, and if any new info comes out, I'll probably make a video talking about it. But until then, this channel will remain a mystery. Alright, this one is definitely an ARG. This section's probably going to be short, since I don't really have much to go off of here. When I'm making a video, especially one like this, I try to avoid watching any YouTube videos talking about my subject, just to make sure I don't accidentally plagiarize anything. I find it very easy to accidentally just repeat what I've heard others say, especially if it's fresh in my mind, and I'd really rather my videos show my actual opinion. Now, how does this relate to user 9472, you may ask? Well, similarly to a few ARGs I talked about back in my ARG video, user 9472 has some videos that just aren't up anymore. And in my attempts to understand what the hell this channel is about, I watched a few videos by other YouTubers, notably Gooseboost and Pixels After Dark, whose videos about user 9472 are how I even found it in the first place. But despite watching what I believe to be every currently uploaded and deleted video, I still have no idea what the fuck this channel means. It's definitely an art project, or an ARG, or something. Honestly, at this point I think it probably means nothing. I genuinely would not be surprised if these are just creepy videos made for the sake of being creepy, and if that's it, they do a damn good job. These videos are some of the most deeply unsettling I've seen, despite their contents often being nothing. Seriously, most of these videos are just a weird or unnerving image with some creepy music. Something about them is just disturbing. If I had to guess what it is that creeps me out so much, it's the images. They're so bizarre that you would think that they'd be easy to find elsewhere, but aside from one that I was able to trace the origin of, they're all nowhere to be found. This brings me to the rather worrying thought that maybe, just maybe, this isn't an ARG. Maybe these videos are real. Of course, this is all just an art project of some sort. I know I called it an ARG, but these videos go nowhere. There's no codes, no external videos or websites. There's just nothing. I think it's best if I show you a few of the videos themselves, since I do legitimately have nothing else to talk about otherwise. I won't cover every video, just the ones I find most interesting. First, let's talk about this video, which I'll be dubbing Hallway.
I forgot to say anywhere that the videos don't have titles.
It features slowed down footage of a woman in a hallway, except for one part where she appears to be stuck in a loop. The video has a description, Yelenia in the hallway, and while I think that likely doesn't mean anything, the first result for the name, Yelenia, is a missing Italian woman named Yelenia Carisi, though I think that's probably because she's the most well-known person with that name. While I think this video likely means nothing, there is another video that I think might connect to it, though it's not on YouTube anymore. This is easily user 9472's most well-known video, given that it made it to the news, and that's for one good reason. It shows a dead body. Okay, well, that's clearly an alive woman. I mean, you can literally see her breathing at one point, but I do think that this is a representation of a dead body. Let's talk about the rest of the video first, before we get into what this might mean. This is an extremely unnerving video, featuring several masked people just kind of sitting. The vibe of the video is just really off-putting. The house especially is weird, and it really reminds me of my grandparents' house. And I know I can't be the only one, because I've seen that sentiment shared around. Now, I believe this ties back into hallway, as Yelenia could possibly be this dead woman from the deleted video. Next, we have this video, which I'll dub Lights. This one is concerning. It has a description 6002, which as far as I know doesn't mean anything, and it can't possibly be a code. My only explanation is that maybe it's referring to the angel number, but I got some conflicting results about what that could mean, so I doubt it. Anyway, the video itself isn't concerning, nor is the description. It's concerning because it's marked as a YouTube Kids video. While it isn't overtly disturbing, as all it contains is a man with a ski mask with lights over it, this could still be disturbing to a child. I was scared by dumber things as a kid. I'm sure if I saw this I would have been pretty freaked out. And now for the final video. Let's talk about another more well-known one. This one, which I'll dub Fish, is often talked about because of the images it features. A naked woman eating a fish. Out of context, this is very concerning. The woman looks distressed, and the low quality of the images, while looking as though they're from a movie or TV show, could just as easily be from a personal camera. However, thankfully, this is the one time we have an origin for the images. These images are of Stephanie Dills, a contestant from the reality TV show Survivor, specifically its 5th season, and are from her audition tape. These are simply just images taken out of context, though without context, they are quite unnerving. There's a lot more videos on the user 9472 channel I could talk about, such as this one with another masked person, and the most recent upload, which I think are a lot more ARG-like, but this segment's already gone on long enough. Maybe in the future I'll return to user 9472 and talk about the whole channel, but I think it'll be just as mysterious then as it is now. However, the next channel I want to talk about is a lot less mysterious. I'm not gonna bullshit you and say this is a mysterious art project or ARG or anything. PilotRedSun is just a guy that makes weird animations. So why am I talking about him? It's simple, really. I've been a fan of his for years, and I doubt I'll have another chance to talk about him. Back around 2015, I stumbled across his video, Pringle Advert, and while I did, and still do, find it unsettling, I still ended up becoming a fan of his work. Now, I've thought about including PilotRedSun in my childhood trauma series before, but honestly, the majority of his videos aren't creepy enough to include him. Sure, there's Pringles Advert, which is definitely a bit creepy.
You will regret that purchase.
But that's the only one of his videos that I would say is remotely creepy. There's a few more somewhat unsettling or unnerving videos, like Quaker's Oats, which features the Quaker Oats guy talking about how good his oats are.
Won't you try my wheat? Come get some grains, friend.
But really, that video is just weird. And that's the best way to describe PilotRedSun. Weird. You have videos like Not So Fast, Felonious Bolus, What's for Dinner,
Slop. Slime.
and Anime E-Card Anime Girl Greeting Card, which are all animated in such bizarre and surreal fashion, making these videos borderline incomprehensible at times. But that's definitely the point. PilotRedSun's animation style, especially in his newer work, feels a lot like it's trying to emulate something you might see in a dream. It's nonsensical, but at the same time, it's cohesive in its strangeness. This goes for the music in his videos too, which for the most part are composed by him. In fact, you're actually hearing one of his songs right now. Much like the animation, a lot of his songs have an ethereal, dreamlike quality to them, really adding to the atmosphere. Before we move on, I want to go over his two videos that I think best encapsulate the dreamlike qualities of his work. First, we have Garfield, which is his most famous video. This was a meme a while back, and for good reason, because this video, despite being absolute nonsense, is also pretty funny. Actually, a lot of PilotRedSun's videos are funny, and while Garfield definitely isn't the funniest, it is, in my opinion, a funny video. And while the general idea of Garfield ate all the food makes sense, the way it's presented makes it somewhat insane. However, for as good as Garfield is at representing PilotRedSun, Grinch's Ultimatum is even better. This video is something you need to experience for yourself. There's something about it that is so weird, so bizarre, and yet so hilarious that I always find myself coming back to it. This is easily my favorite of PilotRedSun's videos, and I highly recommend checking it out for yourself. It has such a strange vibe that I think perfectly encapsulates PilotRedSun's work in all of its strangeness. Anyway, as I said before, this isn't really a mysterious or dark channel. PilotRedSun just makes weird stuff. I could keep going on and on about how much I enjoy his content, but I'd rather you check it out for yourself. However, if you're only going to check out one channel I talk about in this video, it should be the next one. Let's get back to talking about some creepy content. Boisvert is a decently popular analog horror channel, and it's easily one of my favorites. Although, calling it analog horror is a bit inaccurate. Boisvert certainly has analog horror and ARG elements, but it feels a lot more personal than most analog horror projects. Boisvert has no real plot, though what it does have is very blatantly about mental health struggles brought upon by isolation, and as someone who has dealt with my own mental health struggles in the past, I find the series painfully relatable. To me, Boisvert is very hard to see as anything other than its creator, Dreamy, probably pronounced that wrong, taking their struggles with mental health and turning it into art. And as art, Boisvert is some of the most creative I've seen on this site. It blends animation and live action in spectacular fashion, all while only using black, white, and occasionally red. I don't want to go too much into Boisvert's content, since not only do I think you should check it out yourself, but I also intend on doing a full analysis of the series at some point. However, I still do want to go over some of it. For the sake of this video, I'll be going over what I think the first few videos are about, as well as my favorite one outside of those. If you want me to go over the full series, please do let me know. But for now, here's the important parts. Let's start with the first video. This is some of the most blatant messaging of all of the series, as the video opens with this antlered guy, commonly referred to as Oriole by fans, saying, "These are troubling times, my friend." And as the video was uploaded in 2020, yeah, they certainly were troubling times. Oriole continues by saying, "During such tribulation, let us focus on the small victories." Then talks about said small victories, such as waking at a reasonable hour, exercising consistently, ignoring the noises downstairs, staying productive, and ignoring the noises downstairs. Clearly, Oriole could not ignore them anymore, as we see what's making the noises. A dark, shadowy creature named Room. Suddenly, we switch to a mix of live action and rotoscoped animation, as Room whispers to us. Okay, so I was gonna have the actual line from the video here, but I got hit by a false copyright claim, and I don't think it's gonna get removed, so I'm just gonna recreate it.
Do you know what day it is? When did you last go outside? When did you last see your friends, your family?
So if it wasn't obvious, this video is about the COVID lockdown. Oriole feels isolated because of the lockdown, and this has let their intrusive thoughts, personified as Room, take over their life. We'll see Room's takeover as the series progresses. The next video I want to talk about is They Don't Know, and while it is referencing a meme, it also confirms that Room is a personification of Oriole's isolation. Next is Burning.mp4, uploaded in March 2021, 1 year after the lockdown started. Oriole says, "It has been a year now. The cycle continues. Wake up. Watch them. Why are you in the basement?" We zoom out, and when we come back to Oriole, they're standing over a blank piece of paper. "Do something. Anything." They smash their head into it and become Room, an act that may represent self-harm. One thing to note here is the subtitles say, "You fucking coward," as they smash their head, despite the text not appearing on screen. Hidden details found in the subtitles is common throughout the series, though I won't be going over them from now on, as I don't want this to be a super in-depth analysis. At the end of the video, Room says,
You're so kind. You brought gaming as you breathe. You're still in the basement, breathed in flames.
Before we go into the next video, I want to mention the description, which says, "I have been reduced to ash." This video isn't the only time we'll see the motif of flames and ash in Boisvert. The next video is Continue, which features 2 previously unseen characters fighting. It's unclear if these characters are separate entities, or if they too represent facets of Oriole's psyche, but for now, I'm going to say they're separate entities. This video, regardless of who or what these characters are, definitely represents continuing onwards, continuing to live, despite how hard it may be. When you have depression, there are days where it just doesn't seem worth it to live anymore, but you have to persevere. You have to fight on, and that's what this character, named Dogtooth, does. He kills the other character, the Quilled God, and defeats the negativity he represents. The next video I want to talk about is The Complex, which introduces the concept of a home becoming a complex. Complex here refers not only to a physical complex, but also a psychological complex. As for the video itself, it contains the Puppet God, another form of the Quilled God, though not much else. Next we have Consequences and Entirely Beloved, which tie into each other. In Entirely Beloved, we see Oriole completely transform into Room, overtaken by negative emotion. And at the end of the video, we see Room sitting in a chair in the basement. And at the start of Consequences, we see that same chair in the basement, now in disrepair. Next we have Zoning Ordinance, which has a lot of story significance, though I don't have the time to go over it all. Basically, Dogtooth returns and fights the puppet god, and in the process, accidentally kills Room. This leads to a rebirth of sorts for Oriole, as the description states, an ending, a continuation, a beginning. And as we can see at the end of the video, Room is no more. Well, I would say that. But going off of the rest of the channel, Room is very much still around. And if Room truly is a metaphor for depression, that's unfortunately accurate. Anyway, that's all the story videos I want to talk about. So let's talk about one more before we move on. And I've saved my favorite for last. The current arc, if you want to call it that, of Boisvert is a lot more cryptic, which is why I'm not talking about it here. But in the middle of it, we got this video. Tell them. This is just a music video. No joke, Boisvert just decided to make a music video. And while I'm sure it means something, I'm not sure what that is yet. If I do end up making a full analysis of this series, I'll try to figure out what it means. But for now, I just want to show you how cool this video is. I have no idea what's going on here, but whatever the case, this is one of the most visually creative music videos I've seen in a while. And that's about all I wanted to say about Boisvert. Maybe someday soon I'll talk about it in full, but for now, please check it out yourself. You won't regret it. Alright, let's end this off by talking about a real internet oddity. This channel is hard to talk about because honestly, what the actual fuck is this?
What the fuck?
I say this with no exaggeration. This is one of the strangest channels I've ever seen on YouTube. And as you've seen here tonight, I've seen some weird shit. I first found this channel through a post on r/internet mysteries, and though the account in the aforementioned post has nothing to do with the Thepentamax, it still led me to it. I did find out a bit later that Gooseboost, who I mentioned earlier, already made a video about this, but I made sure to avoid watching it. I'm going to try to the best of my ability to explain just what the hell this channel is, because otherwise, we're going to be here all night. The Thepentamax is a Japanese channel which features these bizarre videos of railway signs, which I assume are supposed to be for kids. But none of the videos are marked as being for kids, and honestly, these videos are probably scary to children. I'll be honest, these videos make me, a grown man, uneasy, so I can only imagine how scary these must be to kids. I don't know, maybe kids are built different these days, but I really cannot overstate how weird these videos are. I genuinely don't get it. These videos have YouTube content farm written all over them, but I really don't think this is one. The videos are uploaded too infrequently for it to be a content farm, but at the same time, there's no way kids aren't watching these videos. But what kids are watching this? Is there some weird railroad sign community I'm not aware of? Is this some sort of neurodivergent thing? I don't know. All I do know is that the Thepentamax is weird. Really weird. I don't think there's any malicious intent behind the channel, and honestly, I don't even think the videos are bad or anything. I just don't get it. Let's take a look at how this channel started, and see if maybe that'll give us some answers. The first video was uploaded all the way back in 2013, and it was a normal video of a railway sign. Huh. How did we go from this to whatever the hell this is? Pretty much every video on the Thepentamax's channel from 2013 to March 2021 is normal, with the videos either being railway sign or train related. Things start getting weird with these two videos, as we start seeing railway signs that don't normally exist. Oh, and quick side note, I don't speak Japanese, much less read it, so I had to use a lot of Google Translate here. If I get anything wrong here, please blame it on faulty translation. Anyway, this first abnormal video is titled Weird Mini Railroad Crossing Special Feature, false railroad crossing, and is comparatively a lot more normal. This is still normal, real footage of railroad signs, just with various fruits imposed onto them. The next video is a bit weirder and spookier, as it's a railroad sign with what appears to be ghosts instead of lights. Strangely, this wasn't uploaded in October, as you would expect with a weirdly spooky video like this, and translating the name and description of the video doesn't really help us at all. A few videos later, 12 days after the initial strange upload, we get railway crossings that don't normally exist, which is still, comparatively, a lot more normal. This one just has railway signs with bells instead of lights. It's after this, though, that we start seeing more of the stranger videos, such as Transform Railway Crossing, Gulf Railway Crossing, Coke Railway Crossing, and ancient ruins rampaging next to a railway crossing. Railway doesn't sound like a real word anymore. These videos, still, aren't too strange though, as they're very clearly just someone having fun with editing. It's not until this video, titled Railway Crossing Mechanical Lifeform Can-Can, that we see more of what we're used to. From this video on, the Thepentamax devolves into these bizarre railroad sign animations, and I genuinely don't know why. How did we go from a Japanese person uploading videos of railway signs and trains, to lightly editing railway sign videos, to this? You know what these videos remind me of? Syriac. I've talked about Syriac before in my first childhood trauma video, and while I do like his work, much like these videos, it is a bit unnerving, though more intentionally than the videos here. I'm not even really sure why the Thepentamax unnerves me. It's not scary at all. It's literally just railroad signs, but something about these videos is just really off to me. I know I'm not alone in this, as a lot of comments on especially newer videos echo the same sentiment. But really, what I want to know is why. Why do you take your innocent, albeit maybe a bit boring, railroad sign channel and start making weird, surreal animations for a very niche audience? Just for attention? Probably. I would assume these videos got attention. And so, as any good YouTuber does, the Thepentamax decided to make more of what got attention. I mean, that's what I would do. Think about it. If you had a channel for a similarly niche audience, and one day you decide to lightly edit in some weird stuff, and that gets popular, more popular than your normal videos, wouldn't you want to make weirder videos? Wouldn't you want to make your videos more and more heavily edited, until they didn't even resemble your original content at all? As long as it gets views, right? I think that's probably what the deal with the Thepentamax is. They likely saw how successful their videos about railroad signs that don't normally exist were, and decided to get weirder and weirder with it. And as those did better, they just kept at it. I can't lie, I respect the grind. Doesn't change that it's a weird grind to begin with, but I respect it. I know that's a bit of an unsatisfying explanation, but that's how things are sometimes. Not every weird, unexplained YouTube channel is something dark. Sometimes it's just someone making weird stuff for a niche audience. But with that, I think it's time to wrap things up here. I've already gone on a bit longer than I expected, but I still hope you enjoyed this video, even if it was a bit looser than normal. I quite enjoyed making this video, and I have a lot more channels I could talk about. I didn't even touch on any of the more disturbing ones. So please, let me know if you enjoyed this video. I will make this a series if there's demand for it. And if you have any suggestions for creepy, mysterious, or just downright weird YouTube channels that you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments. That's all for now though. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. And good night.